Who's the greatest team of all time? To be honest, I'm a real fence sitter with this question. I've been pondering it for a while. You got the 85 Bears, you got the 89 49ers, you got the 1990s Dallas Cowboys, you got the 70s Pittsburgh Steelers. Anything farther back for real, like, you're just dunk. I don't know what to tell you. Especially if it was before the color barrier was broken in the NFL, and you claim that's the greatest team of all time. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're gonna tell me they didn't even have black cornerbacks in the NFL, and this team that went undefeated in 1941 is the greatest team of all time. It doesn't make sense. With that being said, I only picked the 21st century for this list. I didn't go too far in the past because I'm really not unk like that. Like, nigga, I'm only 20. But with that being said, this is top 10 NFL teams of the 21st century. Now, before we get into this video at all, if you don't want to be a sex offender like Lawrence Taylor, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into this video. Starting at number 10, the 2001 Rams. This is one of the only teams on this list that doesn't have a Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but this offense was so fucking great, man. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner, and not to mention Orlando Pace and a great offensive line. This team was star-studded. This team was stacked. And they had the last 3 league MVPs on their team, with Kurt Warner winning it in 99, Marshall Faulk in 2000, then Kurt Warner winning it again in 01. This year, the St. Louis Rams had the best offense in the NFL, no surprise for the greatest show on turf, and they had the most yards by any NFL offense, blowing out number 2 by almost 1,000 yards total. In the regular season, they went 14-2, was the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they had cruised through the playoffs, beating Green Bay, then beating Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship to play against the New England Patriots. Now, while the Patriots did win this game, this 2001 team's not going to be on this list. If we're talking on an all-time perspective, if we're talking about like bar for bar, band for band, the Rams are the better team. It's like saying the 07 Giants are a better team than 2007 Patriots. But anywho, this ugly-ass, young, 7th round, child-kissing white guy would win his first Super Bowl. So for this Rams, actually, fuck you. I got to deal with Tom Brady fans for the rest of my life. I got to live in Kansas and have people say they're Tom Brady fans. Shout out my nigga Austin, bro. You're cool, though. With that being said, the 2001 Rams caused the worst thing to happen in 2001, Tom Brady winning his first Super Bowl. And they're number 10 on my list for top 10 teams of the 21st century. Number 9, the 2024 Eagles. I could place this team way higher, but since it was so recently, it's hard to get a historical perspective on this. But the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. They had the 2nd ranked defense in the whole NFL and had the 8th ranked offense. The Eagles went 14-3 in 2024. They are the 2nd seed in the NFC in wildcard week. They beat the Green Bay Packers 22-10. They beat the Los Angeles Rams 22-28 in a thriller. And then the NFC Championship, they beat the Washington Commanders 23-55 before delivering an all-time ass whooping to the Kansas City Chiefs to stop them from three-peating. This team was dominant. I can see them moving up when years go by. And hell, if they win another Super Bowl and this leads to a dynasty, I can see this team even making the top 5 because offensively, defensively, absolutely stacked roster. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley rushed for 2,000 yards and won Offensive Player of the Year. And they had that cornerback that was in motion because a white boy in motion stays in motion. Shout out Cooper DeJean. Simply put, this team is stacked. They stopped the Chiefs from three-peating, which fucking sucks because I had so much videos planned for saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT because he won 3 in a row, something Tom Brady didn't do. But that didn't happen. Hell, the video fell flat on its fucking face. So also fuck the 2024 Eagles. But with that being said, number 9, 2024 Eagles. Number 8, 2019 Kansas City Chiefs. This was the Chiefs' first Super Bowl of their dynasty, and this was the time when everybody liked the Kansas City Chiefs. Simply put, they haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years up to this point. In 2019, the Chiefs were ranked number 6 in total offense. Granted, Patrick Mahomes was out for about 3 weeks, and that's where 2 of their 4 losses happened that season. The Chiefs went 12-4. They won the AFC West division, and they were number 2 heading into the playoffs, having a first-round bye. And in the divisional round, they had played the Houston Texans. I was actually at this game, where they'd come back down from 21+ points in one quarter. The next week, they would have the Tennessee Titans, where they'd win once again, winning 24-35. And then the next week, they'd have the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. Now, I've been a Chiefs and Niners fan all my life. I never thought this would happen. In my entire life, I never thought the Chiefs and 49ers would be in the Super Bowl. And this shit happened twice to me. Now, I'm a bigger 49ers fan than I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm not gonna lie. This shit hurt like a bitch. The Chiefs would win 20-31, and pussy-ass Jimmy Garoppolo would miss a wide-open Emmanuel Sanders! With that being said, while Patrick Mahomes was healthy this year, they only lost 2 games in the entire season. He was playing at an MVP level. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. The defense was getting better, being ranked number 7 in the NFL after being abysmal the prior year. But that being said, number 8 is 2019 Kansas City Chiefs. Number 7, 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This might be the greatest defense of all time, and this might be the greatest defense of the 21st century. 2000 Ravens and the 2013 Seahawks definitely have an argument, but if you said the 02 Bucks, I'd have to hand it to you. And also shout out to the 2000 Titans. Don't get talked about enough. So simply put, this defense was stacked. They had 4 Hall of Famers on it. They had the Defensive Player of the Year in Derek Brooks. They had Warren Sapp, another Defensive Player of the Year winner at defensive tackle. They had John Lynch, Hall of Fame safety. And they had Rondé Barber as a cornerback. All 4 of those men are NFL Hall of Famers. Legitimately might be the stacked, most loaded defense in NFL history, if not the greatest defense of all time. They're obviously ranked number 1 in the entire NFL. Now what puts them down is their offense. Mid as fuck. This offense was ranked number 24 in the entire NFL. They had the number 1 defense though, and that carried them all the way to a Super Bowl win, where they would annihilate the Oakland Raiders, John Gruden's former team. And yeah, not to mention, they had a Hall of Fame head coach as well. Maybe the greatest defense of all time. If you said it, I'd believe it. But on my list, they're the number 7 greatest team of the 21st century. Number 6, 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. This team was just a machine, simply put. They had Brandon Graham, they had Fletcher Cox, they had Malcolm Jenkins, they had Alshon Jeffrey, they had the MVP of the league until he got injured, Carson Wentz. His backup came in Nick Foles, Eagles legend at that point. Stabilized their team after some rough seasons, and he led them all the way through the playoffs, outdueled the greatest quarterback of all time, and won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. This is one of the most iconic teams of all time, the most iconic team in Philadelphia history. And in 2017, the Eagles were ranked number 7 in total offense, and they're also ranked number 7 in total defense. And in this season, the Eagles would go 13-3, be the number 1 team in the entire NFC, get a first round bye, and they would roll through the playoffs, beating the Falcons in divisional 15-10. It smoked the Minnesota Vikings in the conference championship 38-7, and then one of the greatest games of all time, the most iconic game in Eagles history. They would play the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady threw 500 yards, 3+ touchdowns, and they still won. Why? Because like I said earlier, team legend, backup quarterback up to this point, got cut a few years earlier. Nick Foles outdueled the greatest quarterback of all time. And I'm in debt to you because I can look at Tom Brady fans, no matter how bad Mahomes plays, no matter what they want to glaze about Tom Brady, look them in the eyes and say, come here, little nigga. Didn't Tom Brady lose to Eli Manning and Nick fucking Foles? But with this win, the 2017 Eagles would bring their first Super Bowl in franchise history. But with that being said, number 6 on my list is the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. And this is where we get to the shitty part of our list, because Tom Brady wasn't just beating teams. He had a whole all-star cast of people to beat these teams. He wasn't doing it all himself, like some people like to think, because he has some of the greatest teams of the 21st century and maybe even the greatest team of the 21st century. But let's just start it off. Number 5, 2016 New England Patriots. Tom Brady was throwing to bums. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Tom Brady had Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, LeGarrette Blount, who led the league in total touchdowns with 18. And on top of that, he had the greatest defensive mind in NFL history in Bill Belichick coaching him. Oh, and he had the number 1 defense in the entire NFL. But I'm going to take my Tom Brady hate out and just tell you how great of a team this was. Like I said, they had the number 1 defense in the entire NFL. They went 14-2. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC. And on top of that, they had the number 4 offense in the entire league. And this recipe almost came into a screeching halt against the Atlanta Falcons, who blew a 28-3 lead. Atlanta, fuck you. If there is anything I can't argue with Tom Brady fans is, this nigga did that shit. What did Walter White do? You got me. This nigga did that shit. Low key. Hella aura too, bro. 28-3 comebacks fucking insane. I can't even hold you there. I'm gonna try to find something to discredit it because I don't fucking like Tom Brady. But this nigga did that shit, bro. Go fuck yourself, Falcons. Y'all just made it so impossible for there to be another GOAT of the NFL. Because no matter what metric I say, these niggas are gonna say, did he come back 28-3? Number 4, the 2000 Ravens. For my money, this is probably the greatest defense of the 21st century. This defense allowed 10.3 points per game. Ray Lewis was at his absolute peak. He won Defensive Player of the Year this season. In the final 7 games of the NFL season, this defense allowed 3 touchdowns. They had 4 shutouts in one season, held 7 teams to 7 points or fewer. This team only allowed 970 rushing yards all season. Do you know how nasty that is? Simply put, probably the greatest defense in NFL history. But quickly, name one player on their offense. Exactly. Who the fuck was on their offense? Because this offense was carried by the defense, which also had 50 fucking takeaways. In a 16-game regular season, this defense carried that offense because they had 50 takeaways, only allowed 240 yards per game, and shut out 4 teams. All this with a bottom 5 offense, and this team would still win the Super Bowl. They would go 12-4. In the wild card round, they'd beat the Denver Broncos 21-3. In the divisional round, they'd beat the Tennessee Titans 24-10. In the conference championship, they'd beat the Raiders 16-3 before finally beating the Giants in the Super Bowl 34-7. In 4 games in the playoffs, this team only allowed 23 points total. I don't got anything bad to say about the 2000 Ravens because this defense would probably fucking assault me if I'm being quite honest with you. With that being said, number 4 on my list is the 2000 Ravens. Number 3, the 2004 Patriots. Some people consider this team one of the greatest teams of all time. A lot of people consider it the greatest Patriots team of all time, but I don't. You'll see in a second. This bitch-ass Tom Brady-led offense was ranked number 7 in the NFL, and they had the number 3 defense in the entire league. Patriots would go 14-2, and they'd be the number 1 seed once again. And in the divisional, they had thrashed the 14-2 Indianapolis Colts 20-3. They had beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the conference championship 41-27 before beating the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl 24-21. This might be the most complete Patriots team. Being top 10 in offense and defense, that's a regular for this New England Patriots dynasty, which I fucking hate, by the way. Oh, and did you know that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady got caught cheating? But number 3, the 2004 Patriots. Number 2, the 2007 New England Patriots. Why do I gotta glaze this fucking stupid ass franchise? And if you're wondering why I hate this franchise and Tom Brady so much, it's because my wife's boyfriend is a Patriots fan. But with that being said, if the 2007 Patriots won the Super Bowl, they'd probably be the greatest team of all time. You had Tom Brady, first team All-Pro and MVP. He threw 50 touchdown passes, NFL record. No one's done it to that point. You had Randy Moss catching 23 touchdown passes. No one done that up to that point, even though Jerry Rice caught 22 in 12 games. You had Wes Welker, All-Pro, 1,000+ yards once again. And on top of that, they had the number 4 defense in the entire NFL, led by the greatest defensive mind in NFL history, Bill Belichick. And of course, they had the number 1 offense. It's the greatest offense of all time up to this point, if we're being honest. And this team iconically, well now known as infamously, went 16-0 through the regular season. They went through the playoffs going 18-0 and leading to the Super Bowl against the 10-6 New York Giants.
And God bless you, Eli Manning.
As overrated as this nigga Eli Manning is, as ugly as he is, this nigga did it. This is the equivalent of time traveling back to 01 and stopping the planes from hitting the fucking towers, my nigga. If Tom Brady went undefeated right here, I don't even know what I could do. I don't know what I could say to persuade people that maybe Tom Brady isn't the greatest of all time. He has some blemishes on his resume, such as this right here. The biggest blemish on his resume is only putting up 14 points in a Super Bowl to go undefeated, to cement yourself as the greatest player and on the greatest team of all time, and he didn't do it. He choked. Actually, fuck Eli Manning. Shout out to that Giants defense. Thank you for not allowing the Patriots to go undefeated. I would have actually had to beat up my wife's boyfriend. But with that being said, number 2 team of the 21st century, 07 Patriots. Number 1, the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. I hate the Seahawks, but the cultural impact of this 2013 Legion of Boom team needs to be studied. First off, I want to say is, I hate the clips I see from this season. As a 49ers fan, Vernon Davis getting lit the fuck up. This goddamn interview that will never go away. The highlight of the tip in the NFC Championship by Richard Sherman that will never go away. This season is a stain on the Niners legacy. It's a whole fucking stain. And I just fucking hate it because of the end of the Jim Harbaugh era as well. Colin Kaepernick was out. This team just fell apart after this season and wouldn't come back till 2019. But that's not what this is about. Dude, this team was fucking loaded. With how offensive friendly the NFL is nowadays, there's been no modern NFL defense to come close to what this 2013 Seattle defense did. And that's what really gives them the edge for me. You had Russell Wilson, in my opinion, who's a Hall of Famer. You had Marshawn Lynch, a maybe Hall of Famer, but at this time he was first team All-Pro, considered a top 3 back in the league. And you had quite possibly maybe the greatest defense of the 21st century. You had Richard Sherman, a Hall of Famer. You had Cam Chancellor. You had Earl Thomas, a Hall of Famer. You had Bobby Wagner, who was a Hall of Famer. You had Michael Bennett, who was an All-Pro. This team was just filthy, and of course they had the number 1 defense in the entire NFL. They only allowed 14.4 points per game, held 11 opponents that season to 17 or fewer points. They're the only defense since 2000 to finish number 1 in points and takeaways. They only allowed 16 passing touchdowns all season, and not to mention Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett. This team literally had 44 sacks that season, and on top of that they had 39 total takeaways. Now why is this team number 1? Because out of all the teams with elite defenses, they had at least a decent offense, putting up 30 points at least 4 times in the season, having decent weapons on offense in Percy Harvin. They had Marshawn Lynch. They had a running game. They had Russell Wilson, a future Hall of Famer at quarterback, and this team would go 13-3, being number 1 in the NFC. And in the divisional, they'd meet the New Orleans Saints and win 23-15. In the conference championship, they would infamously win against the 49ers 23-17, and this is also the reason they're number one. The absolute annihilation of the greatest offense in NFL history in the Super Bowl. It's one of the heaviest feats in NFL history. This team didn't just beat the Denver Broncos, they destroyed them. They didn't even look like they belonged on the same football field or in the same league. They beat the greatest offense of all time in the 2013 Denver Broncos with MVP Peyton Manning, who threw 55 passing touchdowns, a record, and the most passing yards in a season with Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Wes Welker, and they beat them 43-8. Assaulted them. It wasn't close for a damn second in this game. And I simply believe if we get this version of the 2013 Seahawks that we saw in the Super Bowl, they might be able to beat any team in NFL history. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. This was a bit of a longer video, but I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.